the Nigerian armed forces are being offered help from Donald Trump. So difficult are they finding it to protect their own people from ISIS and its chapter there, Boko Haram. So the Nigerian military can be spared to go and attack their neighbor, but they can't keep peace and stop ISIS in their own country. What kind of president is that?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, Tinubu has very long-standing ties in the United States. Max Blumenthal and David Hundeyin, who's the latter is a Nigerian journalist, very famous, did a brilliant piece on Tinubu in the Gray Zone. Everyone should read it, about Tinubu's ties to cocaine trafficking networks in Chicago in his earlier years. So this is the type of guy that we're dealing with, in bed with the CIA, in bed with all these drug narco trafficking units. But of course, the West backs up the real narco terrorists like Tinubu, who, as you point out, are ignoring, I would say, the assault on their sovereignty by Western-backed terrorists like Boko Haram. Also now, JNIM, another terrorist organization linked with al-Qaeda, has also entered into Nigeria. They have been causing a lot of chaos in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger the past few years. And what is the goal here? Well, the goal is to try and take as many of the resource-rich regions in these countries, in particular in Nigeria, and the U.S. will cry foul. They'll say that Christians are being genocided, even though Christians and Muslims are being killed in both very high rates. Actually, far more Muslims are being killed than Christians in Nigeria. And then Eric Prince or some other private military contractor will get to send in their mercenaries to Nigeria, and they will take up all of the resource-rich land, the mineral-rich land, the gold-rich land in Nigeria, and illegally steal all of the resources. As for the question of why can't he do anything about this threat in his own country, in Nigeria, but he launches all these airstrikes or these planes in Benin the moment there's a coup, there's a simple answer for that. President Macron of France gave a call to Tinubu today under the guise that there was a new offensive led by the Boko Haram terrorists in Nigeria. He made an emergency call, and apparently it wasn't about Boko Haram, because if it was, I'd imagine those fighter jets would have been used to do targeted airstrikes, hopefully on the terrorists, but instead they were used to go into violate the sovereign airspace of Benin and presumably strike the coup leaders.
Now, as you mentioned, Marco Rubio and his administration are again steaming towards Venezuela. The Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier has withdrawn from port in the last few hours and begun steaming towards the Caribbean. The shills of Marco Rubio are trumpeting that it's on, that Operation Southern Spear against Venezuela is on. Is that your take, and what's likely to happen next?
Well, I'll just say it's incredible. Lara Logan, who is a Trump insider, very close with all the Trump administration bigwigs, is, as you just said, tweeting out that Operation Southern Spear is on. This is the U.S. Illegal war that they've been drumming up for months now, or 7-8 weeks now at least. And tomorrow in Caracas, I believe, because what is today? Is today the 7th or the 8th? So it's on the 9th and the 10th, we're going to see about 5,000 to 6,000 people from all across the world standing in unison with the Venezuelan people travel to Caracas and participate in 2 days of major events to try and voice their opposition for this illegal war, which is a total sham if it's being under the guise of combating narco-terrorism for many reasons. But of course, the biggest and most recent reason of all is Trump just pardoned Juan Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who is sitting in a U.S. prison cell for the next 45 years as a result of his involvement and directing of a massive narco network out of Honduras while he was president. So I can't believe that they would begin this operation right now at a time when 5,000 to 6,000 people from all across the world are going to be there. I wish I was there with all of them right now. I wish I was in Caracas. I know we have some mutual friends that are there. And all I got to say is I'm praying for everyone's safety, the Venezuelans and those who are traveling there in defiance of the U.S. war hawks.
Well, that's two big enchiladas. Let's go to the biggest of the enchiladas, the current state of affairs in the NATO-Russia war. I've been listening all day to Donald Trump Jr., for example, who's a remarkably eloquent critic of the Ukraine. He said, and I quote, Ukraine is fantastically more corrupt country than Russia. I've been listening to Tucker Carlson saying he hopes to go back to Russia because the last time he was there, I can only describe it as magnificent. The statement even of General Kellogg, who's on his way out, all seem to indicate that the Americans are going full steam ahead to get a framework to bring the war